members of the Islamic movement invaded key areas of the FCT, particularly the central area, causing mayhem and the likes, and it was subject for debate today that also resulted to a closed session. We want to find out your opinion or your reaction as regards to the ugly incident that happened yesterday.
First, I would say the incident is actually very ugly, and that I will use this medium to condole all those who lost their lives in the ugly event. But I must also say that Nigeria runs a constitutional democracy. And a constitutional democracy means that it's a democracy that is based on what? Laws, rule of law. And if by the constitution itself, which we run under, has also given us what we call separation of powers, has separated the duties of the judiciary from the executive, has also separated from the duties of the parliament from other arms of government. And either day. And that people have been rioting all over the country in the last 3 or 4 years on the same matter. And up till today, the courts have made pronouncements. And as a legislator, as a lawmaker, I thought that the executive arm of government should hands off. What they needed to do was to arrest. Once you arrest, you hand over to the judiciary to interpret what the law says about what the action you're accusing him of. And so if the courts today have said, we have granted him bail, in the interest of the separation of powers that exists, the man should be allowed to go home. If you have other charges that you can raise against him, let them be separate after you have obeyed the existing order. And you can tell the court that we are arresting him for other issues that are also connected to him. And I thought that would have solved the problem. Today it started like a joke. Today, a deputy commissioner of police is gone. Someone that I learned very resourceful, very hardworking, a policeman, an officer to the core, a gentleman. People who are looking up to. If the police had not killed, and we are repeating the same things that happened before. Don't we learn from our day-to-day activities and our mistakes so we can correct them? We're not, neither are we saying that the shares are right to take arms against constituted authorities. But my people used to say that if you always accuse the rat for stealing dawa, you should also know that dawa used to smell. That's why the rat comes for it. In as much as the shares are wrong to have taken arms against the government also had a responsibility on them as citizens. I had someone on the floor say, he didn't know how this type of people came into town without anybody knowing that they are coming into town. Is there a restriction of movement for any Nigerian? There's none. So you can't blame even the SSS and whoever to say that people came into town. You have every right to walk around. They are free citizens. But notwithstanding, I think the government should respect the orders of the courts. If they have other issues, they should raise them so that we can have a peaceful Nigeria.
Okay. Many people were watching the videos of yesterday and they were concerned about like the Nigerian police was using live ammunition on these particular people unarmed because they were unarmed protesters. Now, I want to know what your take, what would be your take on the Nigerian police force using live ammunition. Are there other subtle methods you should carry on these protesters?
Yeah, of course, certainly. We are not the only country that witness protests. Many countries around the world witness protests. And protest is a right. It's a right for every citizen to say, I'm not happy with this thing or that thing that the government is doing, or Mr. A or B is doing against us. It affects our right, it affects us as people, whether directly or indirectly. But again, the rules of engagement are covered by international conventions. You can't use live ammunition on protesters. More so that protesters are armless, are not carrying any dangerous weapon. So you cannot go and start using live ammunition on such people.
So what is your suggestion?
Well, my suggestion is that the Nigerian police should act according to the rules of engagement. The rules of engagement are very clear. They are not peculiar to Nigeria. They are internationally based. And so if you have that, they use water tanks, they use hot water, they use several things to disperse protesters. But I also think if we give these protesters an opportunity to hear them, they won't get to this the point of getting violent.
Okay, sir. I'm sorry for interjecting. I want to address a little different. The deputy commissioner that was killed, from what I heard, they said he was trying to calm those people down before they shot him. How did they kill the man? But I was told that they also came with ammunition.
Well, we cannot say they came with ammunition. We know that protesters, this is not the first time they are protesting. They protested the last time. We saw how it ended up. And there was no report to suggest that they were carrying arms. And we don't know, maybe from the report of the police that we are going to get much later, to also help us in knowing whether they were carrying arms or not. But you're also aware that a lot of other people were killed by stray bullets. And we say who was shooting those stray bullets. So maybe the police will uncover such things also. We will now know whether they were carrying arms or not. But in any case, protesters shouldn't bear arms. Because once you bear arms as a protester, you're not a protester.
In this case, do you now support for them to release demand for them?
Let us go by, we are a constitutional democracy, I've said this. And we are governed by rules and laws. If the courts, which have the powers to interpret our rules and our laws, have said that they have granted him bail, I think he should be released. And if the government have another thing on him, let that thing come up after the fact that they have obeyed the court order.
So I wanted you to use this opportunity, since you are live on there. What should your people that voted the second time to the House of Representatives, what should they expect from you in the 9th Assembly?
Well, having gained some experience in the 8th Assembly, definitely they should expect more of what we're able to do. And we are committed to doing more, to ensuring that our people benefit from this gesture that they have given us. We are ordinary like any other Nigerian. We are choosing not because we are the best, but because people felt there is something they have seen in you that they want you to give to society. And so we urge them to continue to pray for us so that we don't get deviated from that initial plan, and so that we can give to society what we have, representation in the 9th Assembly.
Thank you so much.
I love this.